Okay, we're coming up with Demetra's dream man. We're creating the list.
Yes.
The list needs to be analyzed and assessed.
Yes, and revised because I have an old list, and Barbara's going to help me. This was my list some time ago, probably 3 years ago. See, so those of you that are not listening and you're watching, you can see how beautiful it's in red. There's some hearts, right? We're manifesting love.
You're so cute.
All
Okay,
right.
so we decided, we were just talking about this, and then we said we better film this. So we are creating subsections within the list. Number 1, characteristics are, or, whatever's non-negotiable. Number 2 is important. Number 3 is bonuses. Like, it would be awesome if they also loved blah, blah, blah. And 5, meaning we're pushing it off into the distance here. 5 is things that are generally considered sort of negative, but that we're okay with.
I like it.
And we were talking about that in the sense of, not that like, oh, you murder people, but I'm cool with it.
Right.
It's more like, like, yes, would everyone love to have a full head of hair and an awesome fade haircut? Yes, but people go bald.
Right. And
we do not mind, personally, like the two of us, we do not find that unattractive for someone to be bald or shave their head.
right. Like that can be a number 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the reason why also we decided to film this is because I was also talking to Barbara how everyone's always like, oh, manifest, write down what you want, or this way so you could just like stay focused, right, on what your goal is and for the future. But what ends up happening, no one really talks about how do you actually execute, right? Everyone says just write down what you want. So the reason for us doing this today and talking about it is we want to kind of, besides helping me, is help other people to show them like, hey, this is like a good plan and a format. Maybe they can use it as well. Right, Barbara?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, I was doing a bike ride on the Peloton today, and it was 90s music,
I love it.
and Scrubs came on, TLC.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, I had a moment because it's also January, so we're all thinking about our lives and reassessing. And
Like, why don't I live somewhere hot? I could be riding the bike on the beach.
yes, it's really cold here in Illinois right now.
Yes.
Can I show you a picture real quick, by the way?
Sure.
This is my front yard right now.
Yeah, that looks a little cold
It's chilly.
and icy.
Anyway, the No Scrubs song.
Yeah.
I'm a Kendall Toole fan, and so she's the instructor, and she was talking about how like, oh yeah, this is good practice for saying no, because the lyrics are like, da 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 da, no, 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 and then out of nowhere she whips out this like, yes, we're gonna say no, a lot of strong no's to get even stronger yeses, making room.
Ooh. I like that.
Yeah, right.
Oh, we got to use that one. Definitely.
Yes.
Stronger no's so we can have more yeses.
Yeah. And
Hey.
bigger, better things.
Definitely.
So, okay. Can we go over, I don't mean to be such a vulture about it, but like your different things and what category they go in? 1, 2, 3. Because these are all your wish list, right?
Yeah, right?
In a partner, in a man.
Right. So technically when these were, when I was writing this down, I was kind of just writing it, with a friend and just writing stuff down. So it's not in any particular order, but kind of the things that stood out originally, right? So we're going to go down the list and we're going to rate them, right?
Yes, and I'm making notes. Don't worry.
Okay, me too. Making notes. So the first one on the list is they have to be smart.
Yes. However, smart is a really tricky one when you really think about it. Because do we
Book
mean
smart, street smart. There's different levels of being smart. So I'm going to say that could be a 3 because that would just be a bonus.
Yeah.
Right? That's definitely a 3.
And are you talking about like both book smart and street smart?
Yeah, just in general, like an overall good, someone that just has a overall good sense of, little book smart, little street smart, little, just even a balance. So that's
Yeah.
why I'll say 3. They got to know a little bit of something,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
All right, next is good looking.
Okay, that's really vague. And here's my other thing. I'm sorry to be such a weirdo, but everything on your
Vague.
list is like, I qualify it.
What do you
So-
mean?
So here's the thing. Like you say smart, but it's like, well, what does that really mean? And when you say good looking, I gotta tell you, I know.
Wait, so should I be writing notes next to it? Smart, like he has to know how to like shoot a gun, but also know how to finance his money? Like smart like that?
No, just write
Oh.
smart. No, no, you just mean I know what you're
Oh.
saying, but like you don't want someone who's like, really like not on your level, or like you can't talk about stuff because they're maybe just think of things really simply. Mm-hmm. So okay, but here's the thing with good looking. Mm-hmm. This is 100% true. I have talked about this over and over with all sorts of different people. Men are either attracted to you or not.
Right.
And women are attracted to you or not, and then they get to know you, and then they might become less attracted because you're an asshole. They might become
Yep.
more attracted because you're an asshole. There's all these different things, but
Yes.
you can actually
Men are more visual,
100%
basically.
a woman can see a man and it's like, oh, he's not very good looking, whatever. Get to know him and think he is very attractive.
Yes, because of his other qualities.
Right.
So when I'm saying good looking, I'm saying right off the bat, how important is it to me that initial, so I could even be willing to talk to him or go on a date. I'm going to say a number 2. It's important.
Okay.
It is. Only because I think I've dated lots of guys that were just mediocre. And over time, no matter how good they were, how much I liked them because they were good people or whatever, I still just never felt fully attracted to
Okay.
them. And I want someone that I like to look at.
All right, cool.
Right. And so the next one is someone that communicates.
I'd say that's a non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. Absolutely. That's a number 1. Okay. Next, funny.
I think that's a number 1, to be honest.
Funny?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, okay, maybe a 2. Maybe a 2. But I'm just saying, like, in life, if you can't laugh about shit, that's like really, even if they're not making the jokes, if they can laugh at you being funny, because I think you're funny.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, I didn't look at it like that.
Let's call it sense of humor.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So that's definitely a 2.
Yeah.
It's very important. Got to have
Yeah.
a sense of humor. So let me just, okay. Next is honest.
Number 1.
Yep. Someone that works out.
I would say bonus.
Definitely.
Is that okay?
Because some people could be in great shape or still be healthy and not have to work out like me. I work out. I do.
Yeah.
But honestly, I went 2 months without working out. And I mean,
But these are also things where, like, if someone is
just
really
to have
good,
something in common because I like to work out. So it would be nice to know that, like, if they do work out, it's a bonus because then maybe we could do that together. It could be, it's just a bonus. It's
Right.
not for anything other than
because
they're
also
taking their health in consideration. Working out is not just a physical, it's also a mental.
yeah,
So that means they know how to navigate, let's say when life is getting stressful, they could go work out and know how to let off steam, per se.
yeah. But I'm glad we're putting it into bonus because a lot of people go through phases in their life where they do or don't work out.
It's me. I'm there. So I can't expect something that I'm not willing to do or be or
Yeah.
at that same level, right? So I think that's definitely a bonus. I know the next one you're probably going to cringe, but good teeth.
Okay, is that we were just talking about this, and I was saying you can buy teeth.
You can, but how do you tell someone you have a snaggle tooth or you look like you fucking smoke crack because your teeth are too yellow? Can you go fix your teeth?
Well, you ask me, and I will give you dialogue that will be less offensive.
So I'm going to say good teeth is going to be a bonus. Okay, so you're going to
Yeah,
say,
I
or
would
do you say
say
that's a negative? But I would be okay with it. 'Cause, I mean, come on. I'm sorry. No, they got to have, man, good teeth. It's definitely, it's a bonus, man. It can't be a 5. I'm sorry.
no. I know I wouldn't put it as a 5. That's not a bad thing.
I mean, I almost think it's important because someone that takes care of their teeth, their gut is healthier. I mean, I know now I'm getting into a lot of crazy things, but someone that takes care of their teeth, I mean,
Okay, but listen, wait a second. If someone, okay, going back to 1, communicates really well, they're very honest, they're probably very kind, you could say, hey, let's go have our teeth whitened together. And they'd probably say yes.
whitening is easy. Buying whitening toothpaste is easy. I'm talking about someone that has like a snaggletooth cricket teeth. Like, I'm sorry, I just can't. I trying to kiss someone that looks like.
Okay, well, I think that what you're describing, I'm thinking you want like perfect teeth.
No.
You just want someone.
No, you can even have one fucked up tooth. Look at mine are. Okay. I think mine are moving a little bit. When I say good teeth, I mean like I don't want you to have like a tooth missing in the front.
Well, but then we could break down every part of someone's body. Like,
Oh gosh.
You
That's
know?
what I'm saying. I know you were going to give me a hard time about this one, but you guys, I'm telling you, I think
well, do you want to
good-
put it under important?
I would it's a bonus, okay? Good
Okay.
teeth is a bonus. I'm going to say it's important, but I'm going to go with bonus just
I
because
just wanted to add something, Demetra,
of being
here.
critical, right?
Because when it comes to appearance stuff, things that can be changed, like some people, including men, get lonely and like I've gone through phases in life where I'm like less interested in doing everything that's good for me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you meet somebody and it's your partner, like it makes you want to try to be alive till you're 100. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know right now that this list is going to seem a little superficial, but people have to remember I'm 46, divorced. I've already had like 3 serious relationships. I know what works, what doesn't work for me. And it might seem superficial, but I'm also at the point where I'm not going to settle. I'm a fucking catch. I'm a gem. Okay. I know
Yes.
that. And with putting that out there, I think this list is some of the stuff, like I said, can seem superficial or very high up there. But again, this is why we're prioritizing them in different categories of non-negotiables and what is most important or not. Right?
Yes.
So, yes, moving on. The next one is financially stable.
I think that's a non-negotiable.
Yeah, that's a number 1. Definitely. Got to be financially stable. I think also, again, people, you have to remember, I'm 46. You need to be established at this point. So if I'm meeting someone that's my age or older per se, within, 50 years old or 55, if you're not financially stable at this point in your life, then that's going to be a big issue because I am. And I need someone at my level.
Yes.
It's important. It's very important because the way you're viewing your future and our age, we're at a different level, just altogether. So, and stability, financial stability is very important.
And I think
At this
in
point.
relationships, it matters a lot to be on equal ground with a lot of different areas of life. Mm-hmm. You know? And
Right.
it's a whole different story when you're dating when you're 20 because, don't get me started on this. Like people talk about like gold diggers and this and that. I actually really hate that term because
So
a lot
silly.
of women
Silly.
are really drawn to like, it's a chemical thing to like really want to have kids and you can't work and, be crazy pregnant. I just think it's a very, what is the word? Like primal thing. And you want to be sure that if you're having children with someone that they can take care of shit.
Absolutely.
So
I think, part of the reasons why I also never had kids, I felt when I was with my ex-husband and, hey, if he's listening, great guy. But at that time, because we were young in our 20s, I felt like a lot of the financial burden was on me.
Yeah.
And how can I sit here and have a child and then still worry about finances. And I know a lot of people do it, but when we start thinking, that's just the responsible Demetra, right? I didn't have kids because I didn't want them to go through what I did growing up.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, right? There's reasons for it. So I was being responsible, and the way I looked at it, partially why I didn't have kids and with this individual is because we weren't in a good financial state. And I was like, how can I be the breadwinner and still try to have kids? Like, I want to be home with my children.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And so,
not trying to take care of a grown person that's a child.
Yeah. So this is different that we're in our later 40s or mid 40s because we're not trying to have children now. And so like you want someone who's an equal, not it's the power balance is off if you're like if one of you is
so we're thinking about retirement at this point. So you need to find someone that's coasting towards retirement, not someone that's like
well, you don't want either
stability.
person to be taking care of the other one.
Right. At least not financially. You should be stable enough. So if you're listening to our podcast and you're in your 20s, this one might not apply to you as a non-negotiable at this state. I just want to reference that because you are in your 20s and you're going to be just starting off. Your partner might be just starting off. So neither one of you are going to be stable. So don't make that a priority, right? Because this is not just about Demetra's list. Again, we're hoping that this can reach some listeners when they're making their own lists and manifesting how to help them categorize their own list as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why age is also important and experience at when you're making your list. Okay. Next one. Sexual. That's going to be bonus.
Oh, really? Well, I was going to say that, I mean, that can be totally up to, it probably varies from person to person,
Well,
you know?
Right.
So sexual is in the bonus.
Well, what would you say it would be for you?
Oh, no comment.
That's not fair.
Hey, well, I got to say something really quick about the financially stable thing. I wrote it down, and it is right next to honest in the number 1 category here.
Oh.
And I wanted to tie in the fact it is so important for people to be, when they're like in a partnership, to be honest about money. That is
and it's a very hard conversation and can be very hard, but those are the conversations you need to have early on, very early on as well.
Like one thing I think is, I was reading about, I'm really interested in narcissists, psychologically speaking. And, you know, there's this form of abuse among partners that is called financial abuse. And, you know, it really varies. When you first think about it, you think of like, oh, maybe the husband's working and the wife's at home with kids and he doesn't allow her to be in control of any of their finances or something. But I mean, it varies. There's more to this. And what I'm specifically talking about is like when you're married, even if you were to keep your assets like kind of separate or like just in each person's name, still it matters so much legally what someone is doing with their money when you're married to them. And if they're going to hide stuff from you, that is nasty.
Yeah.
And one more thing, even if you're just dating, if somebody goes and makes a huge financial decision without you, you know that they're not serious about you.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
If they're not taking you or your opinion into consideration, right? So they don't care what you have to say. Or again, like Barbara said, they don't care about you. Or it's just a red flag because this person is a narcissist and they're going to do what they want when they want.
Yeah.
And as a partner, you don't want that. I mean, let me tell you something from someone who got divorced because of financial abuse, right? It's important.
Yeah.
Finances are extremely important. I think bigger than fidelity in a relationship.
Yeah, I think it really, you have to be able to communicate about it. And everybody is just so different, you know, like it depends where you come from. Like if you had 2 parents growing up, like how they, you know, spent or didn't spend or whatever their money and, you know, who had separate bank accounts, who didn't, and who had control over the money. Like all that goes into how, as an adult, what you kind of think it should look like. So it just has to be talked about, you know?
Absolutely.
Okay, so after sexual, what's on the list?
Being thoughtful. To me, that's a number 2. It's very important because that's also, for me, that's my love language. Someone who's thoughtful is extremely important, and I'm going to tell you why. When someone is thoughtful, they're paying attention to you, and they're going to do those little things that matter. And it doesn't mean money related. It just means they were listening. So when you sit here and say, I love flowers, hydrangeas are my favorites, and someone goes out, and let's just say, for no reason at all, picks out hydrangeas, and they're like that beautiful icy blue, and just shows up with them, you know, because you were having a bad day. That was thoughtful, because you know that makes you happy, you know? Or, again, like I said, it doesn't even have to cost anything. It just has to be like, I just worked all day, my feet are hurting. And I go sit down and, you know, my significant other just grabs my feet and starts rubbing them for me. You know, that's being thoughtful. He knows I just worked all day. My feet are hurting. I did a 12-hour day. I don't know. I just think being thoughtful is very important.
Yeah.
I feel like they're paying attention. So that's going to be a number 2. It's definitely important.
Yeah.
Next is kind. Someone
1.
who is kind. That is a number 1. That is a non-negotiable. And I want to just kind of touch base on that as well. Not just how they are treating you, how they are treating others around them is so, so important. Okay, so we're going to say that's a non-negotiable.
Yeah, and let's quickly say you need to be sure that this is not going to be a problem when you're like trying to get invested with somebody. And this means the wait staff. This means their mother. And I'm not trying to make this like a blank statement. Maybe their mom is like really awful. And so they don't speak to her or something. What I'm saying is like, you know, if you have more than one solid piece of proof that they're mean to people for no reason, that's not okay.
It's not okay at all.
100%, 110%, they will not be nice to you when it doesn't suit them. How they speak about their ex.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the ex really is somebody terrible, but it tells you a lot. And I wouldn't say like, oh, immediately drop a guy if he says his ex is horrible. But, you know, pay attention.
Right. Yeah, I think it's important because at the end of the day, at some point, you had love for this person or there was a connection there, and that's why you dated, you married them, whatever it may be. And I understand there could be a lot of hatred or it could have ended very badly, but it says a lot about someone's character if they're kind and they choose their words well. Again, I think it also goes to someone's character. If you're a kind person, it shows good character. And regardless of whatever situation you were put in, regardless, you know, I think that's important.
Okay. Kind. That little word means a lot of things.
Yeah, so it's a number 1, you guys, non-negotiable. Next is someone that likes to travel. I'm going to say that is a 3. That would be a bonus.
Agreed.
And then the one after that, someone who's handy. I'm going to say a 5.
Oh, you mean you're okay with them not being handy?
Yeah, even though I want them to be like, it's a negative, but I'm okay with it because I'm very handy and hands-on.
Got it.
You know, I'm okay with it if they're not handy.
Yeah, I got you. Like, it would be nice, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's not a deal breaker at all.
At all, right? You don't have to be handy as long as you're somewhat willing and to know that I like to do projects. And if you're willing to help me out, if I need be, or willing to learn, that's fine. And if not, that's okay too. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one. No gambling. That is a number 1. That is a non-negotiable. Okay.
Got it.
after that is someone who likes hip hop or rap music. And I say this like, like I know Barbara's like, what the hell? Okay, so hear me out though. I had dated 2 guys, right?
You just said hear me out.
Oh, I did. Just hear me out, people. And I love hip hop. I love a rap. I grew up on it. And I love other forms of music, right? I have different genres I listen to. However, my go-to hip hop, rap, that's what I grew up with, okay? And I dated 2 guys who were totally like all about like metal or country. And what I didn't like was that they weren't even open-minded at all and would make comments that I liked hip hop or rap. So I think it left a very bad taste in my mouth. So what I'm trying to say is you don't have to only like that. I like all forms of music. But if we're in the car together and I want to play some Dr. Dre or Snoop Dogg, okay, and I want to reminisce on some Too Short bumping down the street on a summer day, I want you to be like, yeah, you remember that song when we were younger? And roll with me. Not turn around and make judgment calls and talk shit. Because I'm not going to talk shit when you put on your Aerosmith. I'm going to actually probably sing along. Okay? So.
I think that belongs in bonus because
yes,
if they are kind, they will not mock you.
Right. Exactly. So that's going to be a number 3. But I had to put it out there because people are going to be like, that's a weird one, Demetra, to be on your list. But that's why I also had to explain myself.
Yeah, I hear you.
As well, right?
Yeah.
So next is 6 feet plus. That is a number 2.
Okay.
Okay. We've
talked about this. Okay.
Yes.
Because, and I totally agree. Like if that's your thing, that's your thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is primal, by the way. But if somebody checks off everything in number 1, are we going to not date them because they're 5'9"? No,
I will. I mean, I had dated someone that was 5'7" recently. Really good looking, great shape. I mean, and we had a great time. And would I preferred for him to be taller? Yeah, that would have been great. But there's something about it for me when someone's tall and kind of taller than me. I just feel more secure with them. I feel like I'm with like a manly man, you know. This is just my own thing.
And it goes back to the attractive thing, which is in number 2 as well. Because you're not going to find them as attractive if they're shorter than you.
Right. Eventually, I'm just kind of like, so if I'm mad at you and I look at you and I'm like, oh, but he's tall and just looks like a god. Yeah, that helps when you're pissed off at them. So,
okay.
All right. So, okay. And I hate to say this, but right after that says nice body. Okay. As we get older, too. Okay. Because when I was younger, I'm telling you, I dated guys that were like overweight. And I mean, had bellies that looked like a big teddy bear. And that did not bother me at all. I actually loved it because they were 6 feet and they were big and they hovered over me. I felt like I was with a man. But as we get older, our skin changes. We lose muscle mass and all that. I think it's important that if I'm going to be dating someone, whether they be my age or even 5 or 10 years older than me, that they're in good shape and have a nice body. Because it's going to deteriorate really quick. So I'm going to say it's important. It's a number 2 for me. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I know a lot of these right now as we go down the list is trying to get a little superficial. Like a good dresser, right? That could be definitely a bonus. Or
yes, because also you could dress him.
Right. Right. But I prefer not to because I don't want to dress a man to look good so then now other women can start staring at him. He needs to know how to put that shit together beforehand. And because I am in the fashion industry, I know you're looking at me like I'm funny. You need to have some fashion sense. I'm sorry. That's going to be a number 3, at least. It's a bonus. You got to know how to fucking dress, okay? Get your shit together, people. I'm fashionable. You need to be fashionable. Okay. Now this one. This is a really hard one, especially at our age. No children or their children have to be older. That is definitely a bonus. It's a bonus, I guess.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say higher than that. Well, you don't want to be in a situation where you're like not living with someone because they have kids living with them and it would be awkward because you're not their mom. Is that correct?
I mean, I'm trying to be realistic. If it were up to me, that would totally be a 2. I feel like everybody at our age have kids.
Let's put it on 3.
Yeah.
But maybe the top of 3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because because it's like not no children. It's no children or older. That's why I think it could be a 3 opposed to a 2. Because it says, if they're older, they're kind of out of the house. And, and let me be clear on that too. It's not that I don't like children or anything. When you don't have your own kids and you get into a relationship with someone, it's hard because, of course, your children should be number one. But with me not having kids, I'm not number one, and I don't have kids to put my number one. So you're always going to take the back seat. And I understand some people say, well, that's a different kind of love, what they have for their children opposed to you. But no matter what, where you're at in life is going to be different. So I think it's really important that unless, let's say someone, I hate saying this, but they're widowed and they have a 3 and a 5-year-old and we get together and I raise those children as mine and we have a connection, I'm all for that. So it's not that I don't, like children. I do. It's just for where I'm at in my life, I need to be very realistic at what's going to bother me and what's not. If you're someone that is every weekend going to dance competitions or softballs and I don't get to see you because you're always at those things with your kids and your kids take precedence, our relationship is just not going to work.
Yeah.
It's just not. And, we have to be realistic, right? So is that a 2 or a 3?
I'm going to say let's put it at 3, but I'm going to put this it is the top of 3.
Yeah.
Because it is a big deal.
It is a big deal. When you don't have kids, and my people that don't have kids that are out there in the dating world, honestly, I want your comments. Seriously, I really hope people will give some feedback on this when they listen to this episode. And I want to know what their experience is, because I have not really had great experience dating people that have children. It just becomes too much. It's always an excuse. It's always something. Next, cigarette smoking. Number 1, non-negotiable.
Okay.
Okay. You can smoke all the marijuana that you want. Marijuana is okay, but cigarette smoking is different. I'm asthmatic, and I cannot breathe around cigarette smoke. So that is a non-negotiable. Also, no game playing. That is a number 1, non-negotiable. No games at this point in life, okay, people? Someone that is chivalrous, I'm going to say is a 2. Definitely important. Okay?
Got it.
The list is done.
Good. All right, we might need to add to this.
I think so, too.
Okay.
Okay.
I just thought it was important to put this out on paper because you can actually get mathematical about this. If there's, if all of the non-negotiables are met and even a couple of the important ones, I feel like that's worth giving serious thought to.
Yeah, you add up those points, right? Let's say you have this person has 5 of the importance, 8 of the non-negotiables, right? But they have that 1. I mean, this person's not for you. It's a no. It's an X.
Well, I think that's the very definition of a
non-negotiable.
Can't
right.
have any.
You
so
can't-
I would say,
Yeah.
I just wanted you to be able to look at it on paper.
So how
If
many
somebody-
non-negotiables? 1, 2, 3, 4.
So here's the thing.
7. That's not that bad.
No. Say
That's not
someone
bad.
is attractive. They listen to you all the time. They're over 6 foot. They have a good body. And they're chivalrous towards you. But they are not honest or financially stable or kind. No. Right?
Right. That's
And
a
I
big
don't-
no. That's a
Going
no.
back to the TLC scrubs. And I don't mean to put
no
guys down.
for more yes.
Yeah.
It's not, this is not about, I think this is just to help, because it's never clear. We talk about red flags. We talk about dating. And then you meet someone and it goes right out the window if you give them that second date. And then before you know it, you forget about what is important to you, and you kind of get stuck in something that wasn't right for you to begin with.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good way to just go back and check in with yourself and be true to yourself and to the other person, because it's not fair for both parties, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we wasting each other's time? That's all. And this is only if you're really serious about dating or finding a significant other. I personally have not been active at dating at all, or trying to. I've not been on a dating site in over 2 years, and I've been 110% okay with that. Does not mean I don't want a partner. I'm also not desperate and searching for it. If it happens, that's great. So if I meet you at the Whole Foods on Peterson and Cicero in Chicago today at 3:30, it was meant to be organic.
And she's drinking alkaline water.
Alkaline water, people.
And so
alkaline water.
We are going to soon have our first guest on an episode, and it's going to be my husband.
Yes, yay.
And I want to have a great talk with him because he is not like most guys. And so I just wanted to say, if someone is not financially stable, I'm going back to your list because I think it's a very good list for almost any person. Or,
like it's a rough draft, let's say. It's a good rough draft, people. Okay, we're just giving you an example. And
this list could be very good for a lot of people, like, again, we're not taking into consideration if you're like 20 and about to want to have a family.
Right, that's why we're putting it out there.
But these things, like say someone's not financially stable and they're not honest, but they have all these other things. You know what? There's also women out there who are not financially stable or honest or kind. And they can be together and play games with each other. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. Leave those game players for each other.
Yeah. Because I'm just saying there's somebody for everybody. And I'm not saying like someone's not worth having a relationship if they're, a gambler who smokes and isn't very kind. They can find somebody.
Absolutely. And that could work for someone. Again, how we were talking earlier a little bit about like financial abuse, right? For me, that's a non-negotiable because what I have been through. I am traumatized from it. I'm still working and healing from it. Again, I got divorced because of gambling. That's the truth.
Well, and the thing is, like, we all want, like, to be loved, to be cared for, and the, like, safety and security. And in this day and age, finances are security,
Yes.
So, I mean, I get it. Even if you love someone like crazy, if they're, like, putting you in the poorhouse and you don't know how you're going to survive, you have to cut them loose,
Yeah. It's just not fair for anyone. I mean, I don't believe in that whole gold digger, sugar mama, sugar daddy mentality.
That's okay. One other thing I wanted to say about when someone has kids and the other person doesn't, and I totally agree with what you're saying, and I have felt that way before too, where it's a little bit painful because everyone says, and I can only imagine how you love your kids. And then it's like special and it's different, but for those kids to be a huge priority and a really special, like they come first kind of love, when you don't have that in common, like the same kids aren't your number one priority, that's just, it creates like a off balance,
Yeah, a wedge. Well, not just only that, it's, wait a second, you're my number one. I'm making you number one in my life. Yeah. I don't have kids, but I'm not going to be number one in your life. Already, that's starting and a lot of people people are going to argue with me. But again, if someone's going to be number one in my life, I want to be number one in theirs.
Yeah.
And that's just what's fair to me.
Yeah, and that's the kind of relationship that you want.
Right. Oh, what was not on the list, you guys, is animal lover.
Oh.
They have to be an animal lover because besides me having my dog, I would say that's a non-negotiable because, yes, I feed all the cats in the neighborhood, even though I'm allergic to cats and I don't have cats, but I love all animals. So with that being said, they have to love animals as much as me.
As much as?
Okay, fine.
It's under important because
Okay,
if they're-
fine. It's a
If they're
2.
kind, they will be happy to accommodate the kitties in the hood.
Gosh, you're so logical, Barbara.
That's why you have to ask me before you date somebody.
Right. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, we're almost at 45 minutes. We better
Woo! Okay, that was
hang
a
it
good
up,
one,
sister.
though. Oh,
Yes.
that was good though.
Tra- All right, join us next week.
Thank
And-
you.
Work on your list. Bye.
Bye.